So tell me, who is Erica Mason?
Man, I feel like that's a long journey of an answer. But in a nutshell, man, I am just a massive, loving, genuine person who is every day trying to have a bigger experience as my humanity continues to grow and evolve. Like, I'm the person that I love watching Netflix, you know what I'm saying? Eating boiled peanuts on the couch. That is my vibe. Love making music. I believe that music is a universal language that speaks to the soul, and I love being able to help people to heal through music.
And where did that come about? Because, you know, you are an extremely talented young woman, I must say that, right? Let's put that out there.
Thank you.
But when did you start creating?
So I feel like I've always been a creator, but specifically for music, I got this little rap that I still remember when I was 11 years old. And my cousin, he brought home Fruity Loops, which is FL Studios, and he started making beats. Mm-hmm. And when he was making a beat one day, he was like, yo, E, come here. Try to rap on this beat. And that was the first time I ever like rapped or whatever. And I still remember that rap to this day.
Okay. I might have to ask you to hit us with it, but you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I walk out the mall, fixing the fall. Real heavy bags, rolling with them platinum tags. I wasn't even driving. See?
Listen, most rappers don't do half the shit in their rap, some of them, so it's okay.
Facts.
It's okay. But, you know, I mean, you speak about a lot of heavy stuff, which is crazy because to be so young and have been through so much, you speak very openly about, you know, attempting suicide and having like depression and a lot of other things, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of these things where I got asked the question one time and I answered the question, but I answered it in my ego. So I'm gonna ask you.
Okay.
Do you love yourself?
Ooh, man. I can finally say yes without a flinch, without a doubt. Maybe if you'd have asked me this like 2 years ago, I would have been honest and be like, nah, I'm still working on it.
But you know, but the thing about it is I answered it in my ego. I was like, of course I love myself. Why wouldn't I? I'm dope. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to stop and I thought about it and I was like, well, if I really loved myself, maybe I wouldn't be doing this, this.
Come on.
You feel what I'm saying?
Come on. Yeah.
So I asked that question because sometimes we don't take time to think about what we're really doing to ourselves, our bodies, right? Our mental health, our financial health. Like, is that really love?
Yeah, that's real because love is an action, right?
Correct.
And it's like when you think about what you're actually doing to show yourself love.
That part.
It brings a lot of things into question. And for me, I had a lot of like self-sabotaging behaviors, self-sacrificial behaviors as far as just over-giving myself, not having boundaries. Ultimately,
that is a whole conversation.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you, and that was one of the main ways that I feel like I was inflicting self-harm even before I began to like start physical self-harm, like just being able to be in a place where I didn't set boundaries and I didn't allow my no to be my no. And I said yes to anything and everything that I felt like would feel affirming to me.
Because no is a complete sentence. And the thing about it is I love this season that we're in, this healing season. That's what I like to call it, right? And I find more and more people in this healing season. You know, I've been so blessed, you know, for the last couple of days being able to get to know you more.
It's been fun.
Listen, I mean, the way we just clicked, right? And was able to talk. And some of the conversations, I was just like, yo, this woman is young, but it feels like you've been around the block a couple of times. And, you know, it's one of those things where you look at this generation today of women and men in their 30s and in their 40s, and we're all just walking around trying to either A, survive or B, heal.
Yeah.
Right?
The 30s, well, I mean, I just entered into my 30s, but I feel like much of my 20s was spent really trying to be what everybody else wanted me to be.
That people pleaser?
Yeah, man. It was bad. It was bad. Like my future, the things that I crafted, my goals were just really set around the applause of people. You know what I'm saying? And other people's validation. And so I feel like when I started to really do the work, I had to ask the question, like, what do I really want? Like, who am I? And what is it that I really want in life at the end of this, when I'm done? Like, what would say this life was well worth lived?
Is that the purpose though? Like some people, like for me, I had to start thinking about what is Nubia's purpose? Like what am I really here for? Right. Yeah. And I feel like that reason, season, lifetime thing is a real thing, right? Like there's a reason for me to be in your life, in this person's life. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that you cross people's paths for reasons. And whatever is happening in that season is up for you or them to learn lessons. And then it's either something that is temporary and my job is done and I move on, or we begin and we have this lifetime of friendship, partnership, whatever it is, right? So when you say work, you've done the work, right? You know what the question is? What does work look like to you?
Man,
what is the work?
Work looked like being honest with myself and getting myself around people who were able to clearly reflect me back with honesty. Because when you're not self-aware, you don't really know how to be honest with yourself.
You can say that again, okay?
So like being around people who really love you, like the you, not just the performer you or the verb you, but the noun you, the being part of you. And listening to those people who love that version of you, and taking that with caution and saying like, let me like really peek my ears up to what they're saying, because they know the noun. They know Erica made, like just Erica, little E, you know what I mean? And being aware enough to receive what they're saying and then take it back and go inward and say, is this true about me? And if it is, like, where can I find parts in my life where I have showed up like my sister has said I showed up, or like maybe my mom, or, you know, some of us don't always have the most like healthy familiar relationships, but just having people in your corner who aren't afraid to like point some things out to you that might rub you the wrong way and be like, I don't really like that you said this about me, but because I see that you've known the noun version of me, I'm gonna take what you said and I'm gonna actually assess it for myself to see if this is true or not.
See, but this is where I have the issues, right? Is that I don't always feel like I have those people.
Yeah.
So I always feel like, or I've felt, I won't say always, I don't like to use absolutes, but I've felt that I was expendable to people because they didn't take the time out to just love the whole me.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like something I said or did, it was like, bye.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I'm not worth the letting me know that bothered you so I could fix it, so I could at least apologize, so that we can actually have a conversation about it. Because what I'm learning is that a lot of people are going into this era of I don't do confrontation. And it's like confrontation doesn't have to be negative, boo.
Everybody is cutting everybody off instantly.
Yo.
The cutoff is real.
What is going on
without
with the cancel
having
culture?
Conversations and just being honest about feelings.
Correct. And that's my problem, is that I feel, well, I won't say that's a problem. I guess what it is they're showing me who they are.
Yeah.
No, I have to learn to be okay with it. Because at the end of the day, I shouldn't have to beg for you to try to see me, right? If you can't see me, maybe you're not meant to be here. So that's the lesson that I feel like I've been learning in my healing process, and this shit is not fun.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so funny that you say that, because like, what I've also had to take into consideration is when you're in community with people, even when you're not necessarily close to them, a lot of times people will reflect back to you who you are, even if they're not necessarily super close to you or don't know you as well. And I've just learned, for me, I had to pay attention to how I'm showing up and how I make people feel when I'm in their presence and when I leave their presence, you know. And not everybody is always honest. And then some people are honest with the intent to harm.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And so it's hard to find safety in those spaces, because none of us are perfect, right? And so sometimes when we show up to the table, sometimes at the table is our trauma. Sometimes at the table is our past history, our past experience, especially if we are those people that find ourselves in those cycles where you're just the same person but a different face. And a lot of the behaviors that you do trigger me. And so it pulls certain things out of me that really isn't who I am, but it's a trauma response mechanism. So what happens is a lot of people, they're responsive and reactive versus like approaching this from a place of, okay, let me try to look past your behavior to lean in to try to gain understanding.
Correct.
Because a lot of people are hurting. And so when you're hurting, hurt people, what? Hurt people. So it is one of those difficult things, but I think that that's why community is so important, because community is the perfect opportunity for a mirror to be in front of you with different types of people. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get along with everybody. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I believe that people who say, oh, I got trust issues, I don't trust everybody and all that kind of stuff, it really starts with you have issues with trusting yourself. Because when you put yourself around people where you feel like I can't trust this person, I can't trust that person, it's like when you really are secure in yourself, you know how to set boundaries around those types of people that you know you're probably not that good for me. You listen to the discernment, you listen to the wisdom. And so you come into a room knowing that these people are here and you don't have to close up or close off, but you know, like, you're not necessarily my person and I can be in the same space with you, but knowing that we probably won't walk together, but I can still be in this space and I can still have a conversation with you and let you be who you are.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, so a lot of times when people are like, oh, I got trust issues, because that was me. I was like, I got trust issues. I don't trust nobody. And I really had to get down to the root of, I really just didn't trust myself because I have allowed myself to be mishandled by so many people. But people can only handle you the way that you allow them to handle you. So
the allowing, right?
Yeah.
And that's the part in life where it's like the self-awareness, right? Because we talked about this, in one of our conversations. It was like I had to stop asking the whys. Why is this happening? Why am I in this? Why is this? This person said this. Why did this person do that? And I had to start asking myself, why did you allow?
Why did you allow it?
Why did you continue? Why did you? Because that discernment that you're talking about, right? I call it intuition, right? That gut feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all have it. And we know, and it usually hits when you're in proximity to a person very early
instant.
on.
It's really a lot of times it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because something they said, something they did, how they did it. If you're observing enough, your body is telling you right now how.
You said that your body.
Oh, yeah.
Your body will let you know so much.
Easy.
Like, before your mind, before logic comes in, your body will tell you if a person is safe or not. Trying to tell you.
Sermon, I'm trying to tell you, that was ministry right there. It's weird, man, because it's kind of like, why do we not listen enough? We try to make this excuse or...
We don't trust ourselves.
We
question, we second guess. We're like, maybe I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe like, I don't know, because they haven't done anything, but I just get this feeling. Trust that feeling. You don't have to have a reason.
And then when they do it, you be like, damn.
I knew it. Damn. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I don't trust people now. Because...
Girl.
But you knew all along that they weren't the right person to be in that position that you put them in. And a lot of times I think we also struggle with relationships because we're putting people in the wrong positions in our lives. Like, we got people who in best friends positions that's supposed to be associates. We got people who should be strangers.
And how many times did I stop myself and say, associate?
Yeah.
Because I'm really trying to learn to put yourself, and that's the thing, you have to, it's like repetitiveness, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got to have that self-talk. It's like, nah, they're not a friend. Like, what is a friend? You get what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself these questions.
And I think to go deeper, a lot of us don't know what friendship looks like.
Healthy
because
friendships.
We don't know what love really looks like.
Well, okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
go there. So love, right? I think, what does love mean to you? Let's just start there.
That's a big one.
It's a thing.
It's a
right?
very big one. But in a nutshell, I believe that love is the ability to see someone for who they are and choose them. That's it. Like, And the choosing can look different in different spaces and different places, right? Because there's some people that I have to love you from a distance. Meaning, so my choice is I can love you for who you are, but that doesn't mean I have to give you access to me.
Oh.
I can love you for where you are, but that doesn't mean that I have to, like, you know, allow you to impede upon my own boundaries. But I can still love and honor you. And I think love is honor. So it's being able to hold space for your humanity, allowing you to make mistakes, but still being able to honor your own boundaries, your own, you know, safety in space as well. So yeah, I think love is being able to see somebody for who they are and saying, no, I see you. And you know what? It's okay. You know, I love you for where you are and for who you are. But also the caveat is love doesn't mean taking anything and everything. And I think that's where people get it twisted. They're just like, oh, I love you, so I let you do all these things. No, that's not love.
Even, I mean, and I'm not even speaking just in romantic terms.
Yeah.
Because like I speak very openly about having a toxic relationship with my mom. And even my daughter, for that matter. And I very much love them, but from a distance.
Yeah.
Because it does disturb and disrupt my peace.
Yeah.
And I can't allow that, no matter that I birthed you, no matter that you birthed me. Like at the end of the day, you know, you have to go through your demons and your healing and all that. But what you can't do is drag me with it.
Yeah.
Because it's too energetically exhausting for me. You know what I mean? Especially when I become the victim to your toxicity.
Your chaos.
You know, to your chaos, exactly. And that's not okay, like you said. But people go, you only get one mother. I don't, sorry, I only get one me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I remember.
How about that?
I remember when my relationship with my mom was estranged. Like just in college, I was just not close with my family. And I had to come to terms with realizing like some things about myself before I could really establish the necessary relationship that I wanted to have with her. And meaning like I had to do some work. And what I mean by work is facing some of the hard truths that like our parents are human. Like sometimes your parents can't give you sometimes they can give you everything that they have, but sometimes everything that they have is not everything that you need. And realizing that, damn, you couldn't give me everything that I needed, but it's okay. I'm not going to continue to hold you against what you couldn't give me. Because at the end of the day, like now that I'm an adult, and now that I'm responsible for my own journey, I cannot wait for you to one day decide if you can or cannot give me something for me to heal. You know what I'm saying? And coming to terms with like understanding that you got a whole, like, especially my family, like knowing the things that they went through as I got older, because I used to have a lot of anger about what I didn't get. But knowing them as I got older, understanding their story and the complexity of how they were raised and what they went through, it allowed me a lot of grace to be able to extend to them because I started seeing my own journey. I started seeing myself in the mirror and realizing, damn, like I'm not so perfect either. And that allowed me to come to that space of understanding.
For the last year or so, I've been telling people that I'm in an era of grief, grieving toxic relationships, which I believe is a thing, right? The death of my father, the death of my aunt, all happening within a year, and then the death of my relationships, right?
That's a lot to grieve.
It's a lot to grieve. Yeah. And, you know, I felt so lonely at times. You get what I'm saying? And then I had to just like find stuff to kind of take up space, I guess you would say. Yeah. Because I didn't know what else to do. You know what I mean? And, you know, one of the great things about taking up space is I have my businesses to kind of work on and those kind of things. And we even talked about the grind. I'm not about the grind life. I'm about the soft life.
Come on. What they say, soft girl era?
Hell yeah. So I was in my grieving process. I was in my healing space and I was in my soft life, right? So I started just treating myself better, going back to that, do I love myself, right? Yeah. So I was like, you know what, Nubia, like, go ahead and grieve. It's okay. There's going to be tears. It's not always gonna feel good. You know, you can reminisce, you can, you know, laugh and you know, smile at the good times. Focus on those, you know what I mean? Also take some of the stuff that happened and find the lessons in him instead of becoming the victim to it, right? So I started to break down a lot.
Yeah.
And once I started to do that, and I was in my own space doing it, you know what I mean? I didn't do the breakdown with people, so there wasn't no like noise. You see what I'm saying? I drowned out any distractions and sat and spent time with self.
Man.
And that solitude was needed. And I come out it's almost like when we came out of that Temescal and you just felt so much lighter.
Yeah.
Once I spent time in that solitude, the heaviness of it wasn't heavy anymore.
And I think most people avoid that. Like, that's the thing that people avoid, is just sitting with themselves, because there's that initial discomfort. There's the initial, your body needs to release some tears. Like, you need to release some things that you're holding on to. And a lot of people are, I think, terrified to face that alone.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't even know how, in a lot of ways, to just sit with themselves.
It's not easy.
Yeah,
Let's be
because
clear.
it's like we got our phones all the time. Like, we're constantly moving and distracted. And so a lot of us can't even give ourselves 5 minutes to just sit and assess, like, inwardly, what does my body feel like? Do a body scan and say, like, am I shaking in my body? And if so, why? Like,
Why?
the little things like that. Like,
These conversations have prompted this new business venture that we're on.
Man. The
You know what
healing
I mean?
experience, bro.
The healing experience. And the inaugural one is here in Tulum.
Woo.
And I
Crazy.
am so appreciative of this. You know what I mean? Like, for you to have celebrated your birthday with Black in Tulum.
Facts.
And I'm never at the events like that. And it was the one time I'm in the event and I'm like, that looks like Erica Mason.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's Erica Mason.
It was live too. Live, okay?
I like rolled up on you like, hi. You know
was
what I mean?
great, man.
And from that first meeting, in the first conversation you had mentioned, we had talked about how our community needs healing.
Yeah.
That's how this whole thing started, right? And then I asked you, I was like, yo, have you thought about doing retreats? And you was like, yo, get out my head. And I was like, well, I put retreats together. And he was like, what? And then we just like, it just smooth sailing.
From there, man.
And here you are with a sold out retreat. Can I get a clink clink? Can I get a clink clink? Ow.
Man.
So can you share with what the healing experience means to you and why you feel like it's necessary?
In simple terms, it's a safe place for us to heal. Like, I think a lot of us...
to start the healing?
To start the healing. A lot of us are on a healing journey already, been trying to figure out how to do the work. And I think one of the missing components to a lot of people's journey is having people alongside you who can cheer you on when you don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Who can remind you of your why. Because healing alone is hard. Like, the healing journey is just hard in general. And then doing it by yourself, like, it's difficult, especially when you have those moments where you're just like, man, I would just love to bounce perspective off on somebody else who I can trust and just be like, yo, so tell me, what do you think about this? You know what I'm saying? And they can give you honest thoughts and feedback on how you can look at the situation or approach it. So the healing experience was birthed out of just the need for our community to come together versus doing this in an isolated manner. And so I wanted to just create a safe space for us to step away from the everyday, like, hustle and bustle, the everyday prioritizing everybody else, and be able to choose ourselves, but do it in a communal way.
Get out of survival mode.
Yeah. And just be. Like,
just be.
Tend to your being, not your doer. We are human beings, not human doers.
And I am so ready for this.
Yeah.
And I am so thankful for you trusting the healing experience to me and my team.
You showed up and showed out. I'm here for it.
Listen, Erica, we can.
And we will. Come on.
Cheers to that.
Come on.
So
let's go.
This is tea time with Nubia. Yeah. What's in your
You know, I got this little mixed berries and hibiscus.
That herbal life.
It's
that
a
herbal tea.
life. It's got a little sweet, you know, a little heat,
Okay.
a little meat. That's all you need. A little tea.
Okay. Dropping bars. Can't take the artist out of this woman. I'm trying to tell you.
You can't.
Listen, I want to say thank you so much for sharing space with me, with us.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, guys.
For coming through and just being your true, authentic self.
Yeah.
You are stuck with me.
Come on,
this is
here.
You know, my reason, season, lifetime. We know the reason.
Yeah.
We are in this current season.
Come on.
But we are a lifetime, sis. We ain't going nowhere.
And
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This was amazing. The tea was busting. Appreciate it. The glass
and the food is busting because she was in Mexico busting it down.
I got all my sauces. I am a sauce person. Don't judge me because I'm saucy. Come on.
Thank you.
Of course.
Next time, tea time with Nubia. Peace.
Peace.
Please subscribe to my channel.